Welcome to another episode of Uncomfortable Truths. I'm your special guest host, Marlon Bub Randolph, licensed master social worker. And today I'll be joined by the amazing Toi Candace Ames, amazing individual.
Hello. Oh, you
How
gonna
you
hype me?
doing
I'm
today?
amazing. I'm doing good. How are you?
All is well. So welcome officially to Uncomfortable Truths. Would you like to tell the
Mm.
people a little bit about yourself?
Why is that like the hardest question to answer?
It always is.
I mean, professionally, right? I am 29. I'm a mother of a 5-year-old who is a handful. I am the owner of Marketing by Toi and Mink Lash Gang, which is a premium mink lash company. I'm sorry, where I sell mink lashes and lash glue and everything dealing with cosmetic. I am a jack of all trade, a master of a couple of them, but mostly I do a little bit of everything. Was that a good bio? Should I have read my bio off my website?
Whatever you need
I'm just
to
saying, should
get
I
the
have
people
done
to
that?
understand where you are with it, right?
I guess so. I guess so.
I believe that's the most important. So, a lot of endeavors, a lot of hands, right? So, officially welcome to the den of uncomfortable truths.
I am nervous.
I mean, we go get right into it. So, today's episode is called The Trials and Tribulations of a Boss. Given that you're the boss of several companies, right? First, let's get into marketing by Toi. What does that look like? Because I know you're a social media specialist, you're a marketing strategist. What does that look like? What does social media marketing look like?
Social media marketing. So a lot of people, of course, when it comes to social media, as a consumer, you're used to just posting. You post what you want, you post when you want. You
Right.
may use a hashtag, but it may actually have nothing to do with your actual post in reaching people in an audience. So for me, what I do as a social media marketer is I sit down with brands and I pretty much strategize out what their content needs to look like so that it sets them apart from being a consumer and looking like a regular consumer feed, but that it actually gains them attention from consumers. So with that, I come up with their basically I develop their brand whole face for social media, what their color scheme needs to be like, the type of content that works best for their audience, who their target audience and what their demographic is. Going down into hashtags and how to use targeted hashtags that gain traffic to not just your Instagram or Facebook page, but that will also act as a funnel to your website to drive traffic. So for me, social media is very analytical.
Okay,
Not
so you just said a whole lot there. How about you simplify it for us non-tech savvy people?
I do I do pictures. I take your pictures and I write catchy little captions.
Listen, I ain't say that simple.
You said keep it simple. There's no in
No.
between.
Okay, so, well, allow me to be a little bit more specific.
There we go.
So when someone is contracts Toi for marketing, what can they expect?
They can expect me to pretty much become their brand and act in their presence when it comes to social media. So they are, depending on the package that they select, I can either strictly do their strategy, which means I give them a consultation, I do an audit on their page and their brand, and I give them what my suggestions are, what I feel like they need as far as content goes, what I feel like they need as far as even just their posting times, how often they should post, what they should post there, what I feel like the best hashtags are for them and their brand. And or they can contract me for full social media management, which includes a marketing strategy, and I actually implement the plan for them. So I post for them, I set their times, I engage with their community, I make sure that no message goes unread or unresponded to, that comments are responded to, that I am building a ambassador list for them or networking with them for other people who will act as influencers on behalf of their
Mhm.
brand. Is that kind of is that a little bit
Man,
better? I
I,
do a
I
lot.
probably should ask what you don't do. Would have
I
probably
feel
been a
like
better question.
when you sent me kind of like the questions you were gonna ask, I told you that would have been easier. You were like, no, it's not. Okay.
Well, the beauty of it is for the people who are going to watch, and as we share this interview, we want them to see the full and the totality of who you are and what you bring to the table. So, of course, everything in marketing, especially digital marketing, isn't always as simple. especially when you're dealing with a client who's paying you to provide them with a service. So what's some of those situations where you would have to go back and forth when you're trying to present an individual's vision based on what they're verbalizing to you?
You know, the crazy thing, and I'm trying to find the most discreet way to answer this question.
This is
I actually
uncomfortable too. There's
had,
no discretion.
I know, but I have a slight confidentiality with my clients as well.
Okay,
So, and I like to respect their privacy. So,
absolutely.
I had a very testing situation about maybe 2 months ago, and I decided to end the services. And I'm big on, because of the fact that I have to become your brand, I have
Mhm.
to know the ins and out of what you do. I don't have to now, I'm not talking down to how much money you make and how many clients you book and no. But when it comes to your services, I have to have a full understanding of what you do. And I had a
Okay.
client who she was starting up a business, brand new, real startup. She didn't have Instagram when she contracted me for my services. And she really had no idea of what went into social media management and marketing. So she came to me kind of with this idea of just, okay, I can post whenever I want to and I'm going to gain followers. First misconception, that doesn't work. Second thing was, okay, we went down into her audit and what her brand colors needed to be. And here are some examples. And then as the content got provided, it was like, well, I thought you were going to do this. Okay, let's go back to the drawing board. So it was kind of like maybe every 4 or 5 days, I'm having to almost
Mhm.
restart everything over.
Wow.
And for me, it was difficult because, you know, I say my main client, I tell it all the time, she spoiled me. She'd worked with maybe 2 social media managers before she got to me. And she was like, finally, I found somebody who fit. She already knew what kind of came with it. She understood that it takes 100% on her end, just as much as it takes 100% on my end to make it work. So
Mhm.
she's kind of, and she was the client that really like gave me a chance to prove that I got this and I can do this. And
Right.
so she spoiled me a little bit. But I say that to say, having someone who out the gate didn't know what it all takes to work with a social media manager and going through that, it really taught me to not look at it as if everybody understands how to use social media as a brand. People use it as if, and same with Facebook, if you get into Facebook marketing, but most people use it for their businesses as if they're the
Mhm.
average person. And then they wonder
Okay.
why they aren't booking clients and they aren't selling products. Because unless you've established yourself on social media as an influencer, like for instance, and my favorite example is always Super Scent with Crayon Case. She was already established as an influencer on social media.
Right.
So when it came down to her dropping her products, yes, she was able to be as successful as a brand because people already were familiar with her and knew her. But you can't start out the gate with 0 followers and compare yourself to her. When she dropped Crayon Case, she already had over 1 million followers. So a lot of times for me as a social media manager, it is important and it's vital. And if you work with any social media manager, that you have an idea of what you want your brand to look like to the world. And when you sit down, you have to be able to give that social media manager a clear understanding of what you do, what it is you sell, and how you want people to gravitate to you. If you are a therapist and you are selling family therapy sessions, then all of your content needs to be family. I should never see anything on your page about a single mom if your angle is keeping married couples together. It doesn't fit. But I'm not a
Mm.
therapist and I'm not a therapist. So you have to educate me on what those services look like and what all goes into that session so then I can sell that. And if you fail to give me that information,
Mhm.
you cannot be upset with me when you're not getting that information out there and I'm giving the basic what I Google searched and read on family counseling. Does that make a,
Right. Right.
I know of course single moms go into family, but I was specifically
Right.
dividing
Right.
the line
I got
for your
you.
little
So
face.
yeah. So in that, no, no. So in that, now we're looking like, it's the Wizard of Oz, and we're kind of pulling the curtain back on social media marketing and things of that nature. How competitive is it for you at this current time, given that you have more people gaining social media interest and more people attempting to be YouTubers and things of that nature? How has that affected your ability to properly market yourself and be successful in it?
It's not as competitive as people think it is. I have the education behind it. I'm not just figuring this out through being an Instagram user. And I'm actually in school. I'm constantly taking continued education classes, getting certificates on, different things. So
Uh-huh.
for me personally, because I have that behind me, I'm a
Hmm.
lot more attractive to brands. Now, where the breakdown comes is the core of why I got into this is I really wanted to be for small and startup businesses, especially Black owned businesses. Because at that level, we don't put money into marketing. And so because of that, a lot of businesses fail because they don't have a marketing plan. And so for me getting into it and having had started and stopped and started and struggled in so many different endeavors, when I got down to being like, no, Toi, you need to solely focus on marketing. That's what you wanted to do, get into it. I wanted to first start there. Most startup and small businesses don't budget for marketing. So when it comes down to social media manager and you have to learn all that it takes to have my services and what those prices look like on that package, a lot of times I'm not selected because I'm sorry, but none of my services cost $100.
Do you have like a discounted package, like a half off package?
My price is my price. No, I do. So each package is custom to the client's needs because every client isn't blanket. Every client doesn't need the same thing. So I would not charge a client who requires weekly or monthly photo shoots the same thing that I would require a client who only needs a page audit and every now and then content strategy suggestions or ideas, if that makes sense. So when I sit down and do my consultations, I take note of everything that you need. I take note of what your priorities are. Like you may need a photo shoot and a website might be later. So I have to make my list of what your priorities are, and then I'll base your packages off of that. So it may be one that includes everything. That package may start at $7,850. Just saying. I may give you one that only requires what your immediate needs are, and that package may start at $350. I feel that I'm very reasonable, and I try to be reasonable for the fact of I know what all goes into being a startup company. And every now and then, the good Lord will put on my heart to discount or to work with a person a little bit more. However, I'm getting to the point now where that is becoming far and few in between because people will still overwork you as if they're paying you for the $850 package. And ma'am, you paid for this service over here. So
so people, note to self, y'all better get her while she's still reasonably priced. That's exactly what that sounds like to me. So when you get into the financial aspect of things, do you run into the situation a lot where you have individuals who are seeking that discounted rate? So how do you address that? How do you address that? Like, because a lot of times it's friends or close associates and or acquaintances who are looking for like that discounted rate because I know you.
Well, I had another conversation I had recently about someone contracting my services, and I kind of caught that they were wanting to do hey, you do this for me, and I kind of just straight up told them, I was like, look, I feel like we have the relationship to where I don't have to sugarcoat anything with you. And if you respect me how you say you do, and you respect our relationship, then you'll understand where I'm coming from with this. I said, I do not have the time or the desire to do anything for free right now. Like it doesn't benefit me anything to do anything for free. And for what that person was asking me for, I said, at this point, at this stage of my professional, career, I have the resume and the portfolio to speak for what I'm able to do. Therefore, I am not doing anything just to build a portfolio. I'm past that stage. Now, we can sit down and we can discuss some things. If you have something that you feel like I can benefit from as far as a barter system, I'm here for it because he does offer some services that I could benefit from. However, I'm not doing anything that I'm not going to get in exchange from. And I had that conversation with him because we do have a personal relationship. He and we actually met through podcasting. And so he knew some of the things that I had worked on with some other podcasts. So he wanted to consult me on some things. And I just had to be honest with him. Look, I am in school full time. I work full time. I run 2 businesses. I'm a mother. I'm tired all the time. And I'm not going to overextend myself with no benefit. Like it just doesn't. It's not attractive. And when it comes down to people who don't personally know me, I get a lot of inquiries and they are expecting something that's pretty much, if not free, then cheap. I'll just tell them at this moment, I'm not accepting new clients.
Oh, note to self. I'm going to write that one. I'm not accepting new clients.
Just not accepting new clients.
So in that, when you speak of that, so how did you get into this whole entrepreneurial mindset? Like what drove you to, you know what, I'm going to do my thing. I'm gonna get out here. I'm gonna start this business. I'm gonna start this company. Like, what kind of got you into those different things?
My mom. Growing up watching my mom. My mom started. She was a stay-at-home mom for pretty much all of my elementary life, and probably around my 7th grade year of middle school. She worked like part-time in and out of the schools while I was little, but her main focus was she wanted to be involved in, our school life and stuff. So she never really did anything full-time. So about my 7th grade year, my mom started an after-school program where she taught video production in the schools, had a whole curriculum for it, had contracts all throughout Fort Bend, HISD, Deer Park, Ailey, pretty much all of the major districts. I watched her grow that business. And people used to make the joke because I worked for her, and everybody was like, you got it easy because your mom's the boss. And I remember I used to always tell people, I never stopped working. I'm like, y'all don't have to go home with this lady. And my
Yeah.
mom is a workaholic. Like when she's
Uh-huh.
locked in on a project, she's not coming out until she's done. But watching her grind to grow her company to where she grew it and to see the success that she acquired from it, it showed me, number one, that I don't have to clock in and clock out for somebody else. And it also showed me that I can do it. And if that makes sense, like I have what it takes. If she
Mhm.
really would, I mean, I was 12 balancing payroll, like knowing how to sign checks and print them out and what to do. Like my mom made sure I knew how to run her business. And in the event she couldn't be there, she's always said, and to this day she says it, everything I have will always go to my kids. So y'all need to know how to work it and how to do it. So she really instilled that in me. And then I've always said I'm too big for a 9 to 5. Like no
Mhm.
matter what, I just felt like my work ethic and my hustle is really and truly unmatched. Like the way I grind and the way I go above and beyond when I do stuff, I always feel like a 9 to 5 would never be able to pay me enough because
Okay.
I'm gonna overwork everybody.
So when you speak of that and you speak of that grind and you speak of that going above and beyond as an entrepreneur, I think a lot of people don't understand the sacrifices it takes. So kind of speak on some of the sacrifices that you have to make when it comes to making sure you're running all, because you have like 5 of them here.
I have two main ones, just two main
Hey,
ones.
2 main ones with a lot of subcontract
As
ish
you
things
know,
running. So
I
just
I feel
in
like hobbies make money, so I'm a hobbyist.
clearly. So how do you manage that time? So not only are you managing your own 2 companies, but you're also contracting yourself out for other individuals, whether it's, and we didn't even mention the that you also do photography, which is something that wasn't mentioned. So
I'm
in the midst
sorry.
of
I
all
do
these different
photography and
things,
videography as well.
exactly. Like we didn't even mention that. So how do you juggle all these different responsibilities and jobs?
I am a planner. Like to this day, I carry a planner around with me. I have to be, if my time management is off, I am literally like all over the place. As far as the sacrifices,
Mhm.
my personal life takes a pretty big sacrifice. When I unplug, I 100% unplug. However, those moments come far and few in between because at the end of the day, I don't have a guaranteed first and 15 like everybody else does. At any moment, I can have a client who they don't have the budget for it and they will pull out at that moment. And that
Mhm.
15 invoice may have been scheduled for payment and they can't pay it. So in those things for me, I have to, number one, financially, you take a very big risk when you step out to work by yourself and work for yourself. And both of my brands are self-funded. So everything that I have down to equipment, my camera, my lights, my tripods, my jibs, everything that I have, my laptops, my iPad, all of the equipment I have is self-funded. That's
Okay.
money I put aside to build up my equipment inventory. And yes, for 10 years, I worked a regular 9 to 5 to have that guaranteed check, to have that health insurance, to get me to the point to where I could build up everything I needed to step out. Personally, yeah, my friends get on me all the time because even when I'm out, this is me. Give me 1 second, y'all. Let me respond to this email, please. And
Right,
they're like,
right.
Toy, can you put your phone down? Can you? So I had to start like getting really big on being present in the moment. If it's
Uh-huh.
my friend's birthday and I'm out for her birthday, I put my phone in my purse and zip it up. And I used
Okay.
to be the friend because I'm a photographer who had all of the pictures and videos. And over the last year, I've turned into the friend that probably has no phone, no pictures and videos because I have to put my phone away. Because at any moment, I want to respond to whatever email and text message comes
Right.
through. So it's balance is hard, especially when you work from your phone.
So
It's
it definitely sounds like at this point there is no balance.
no, it's
So
work.
so so given that this is uncomfortable truths in that we're talking about the trials and tribulations of being a boss, one of those sacrifices that you're currently making by choice or not is that your personal life suffers. So in those moments and times where your personal life is suffering, like how do you manage? How do you attempt to at least find some balance? Like what type of things are you doing to find that like that cushion and that 80-20-70-30 type balance to some extent?
I'm thinking
Yeah.
hard too. Like if y'all could see like how hard my brain is over here, like, ma'am. Like I really wish that I could fully answer that question. But when it comes to balance, I mean, even down to the fact of my child. Like, he's 5. He likes a lot of attention. He's just like I was as a child. He loves attention. He's an only
Uh-huh.
child at that. There are times when I literally am in the middle of a project and I just have to close my laptop and put it up because that mommy guilt is real. And like when he gets into that mode where it's like, mommy, mommy, look at this, mommy, look at this. And it's the smallest thing. Like, Kason, I've seen you do that dance move 1,000 times. Leave me alone. But I'll realize, okay, well, when was the last time you sat with him and watched a movie? Like, he loves watching movies with me.
Mhm.
And he loves when, like, during the summertime, I'll do like a big movie night with him once a week where like I'll pop popcorn and we do like a popcorn bar and I let him drink his juice out of an adult glass, one of my little cognac glasses. Like he loves that. And so
Uh-huh.
don't
That's
judge me, okay?
hilarious.
But he loves it. He loves it. But when it comes to those moments where he's like begging for my attention, I have to stop and assess myself on just like, when was the last time, you did this with him, or you just went outside with him and watched him play, and ride his
Right.
bike, or just little things like that. And I will, in the middle of whatever I'm doing when it comes to my child, I'm shutting it down. So I guess that's balance, but it takes me a while to like realize that's what's going on.
So there's no structure to it. It's like, oh, wait, I'm working too much. Let me redirect my attention.
Pretty much,
Right. So
yeah.
if that's the case, what you do for your son, you still haven't included yourself in that form of self-care. So what does that look like in finding balance when doing things for yourself, whether it's going out on a date, whether it's happy hour with your girlfriends, or whether it's just me time for yourself? When, where, and how do you find time for those particular things?
It's so sporadic. Like, it's one of those. Well, for self care, every Saturday is my me day. Like,
Okay.
especially when my son is with his dad. I'm gonna have my little wind down, take me a good little bubble bath. I'm gonna just lay in bed or lay around the house, like, or I'm going to the nail shop and I'm getting everything done. I need the spa package with the foot scrubs and the hot stone. So for me, that's what my Saturdays look like. Every week I make myself do that. Just depends on what's on my workload. So some weeks as a social media manager, when it comes to content, I can work and
Mhm.
grind hard on like a Monday. I mean, go like I drop my baby off at school for 8:10 and I'm home by 8:12, clocked in, ready to go. And I'm going till
Uh-huh.
probably 6, 7 o'clock in the evening. And I could be off for the rest of the week.
So
And
so
then I
let's
have weeks where I'm working every day, all day.
so let's
It,
touch on that. You said there's times when you're doing that content, just speaking of the marketing side of the marketing brand that you provide and present for people, when you're in a space where you say you can grind it out on a Monday. So take us through that. When you're grinding that process out on a Monday, are you like providing content for that particular person for like the entire week versus like depending on what's trending that day?
So as far as trending stuff, that's really a day by day thing. Like my perfect example, my client did a T-shirt for Kamala Harris winning. Well, of course Biden won, but
Mhm.
it was in tribute to Kamala Harris. We didn't know technically that they were going to win. We didn't know that was going to be announced Saturday. However, we literally, and granted, my best friend got married this weekend, so I'm
Okay.
off. Like, I'm unplugged off. However, I know with my business, I got to keep up with these things. So I'm like sliding in the bathroom, like, "Hey, perfect time to drop that tea we've been talking about." She was like, "I just did the sample. I'm doing the picture now. I'm gonna upload it. Go check my caption." I'm like, "Bro, you got 5 minutes, like my window of opportunity to do this."
Right.
So when it comes to trending things, those you just really have to just be prepared to get on it. But as far as planning, most of the times, like, I sit with my clients once a month
Mhm.
and I want an overview of what you want your month to look like. Because if I can knock out in a week your entire month, that's the goal. And those little things that pop up and change here and there, it's easier to manage those and keep up because we've already gotten everything planned out. So when I say planning is key when it comes to social media management and marketing,
Mhm.
it's very, very, very important. I need to know, okay, roughly how many sales do you want to do this month? You may not know that you want to do perfect. It's the holiday. Everybody's doing Black Friday, Cyber Monday. If you have a website or a storefront, you know that already.
Right.
So October 27th, when we sit down and meet about November, I need your mind to already be thinking Black Friday because now that gives me time to go and start to produce the content for Black Friday. I can't wait till Wednesday before Thanksgiving to do your content for Black Friday. I should have all your Black Friday stuff sold up the week before. So I when I say grind it out, it's like I need to already have an idea of what it is that you want for that week, the next 2 weeks, or the next 4 weeks, so that
Mhm.
I can adjust my priority list to know what needs to go out first, what goes out then. And I might sit all day and only do graphics. I might sit all day and only schedule
Mhm.
your photo shoots or find models, or I
Okay.
might sit all day and edit pictures or create videos. So it
Right.
just really depends on what's needed and what all in that creative space, because my mind works differently some days. Some days I'm in the mood to do email templates and create graphics for a website. And some days,
Right.
yeah, I'm gonna just edit pictures because I can't think like that today. Like it depends. So, and then some days I'm like on speed and I can do everything. But when I'm able to plan out what's needed, like I said, I can get it done. And I may only work 2 days for the week. And then the rest of the 3 days, I have time to, I love the flexibility of my schedule. I can
Okay.
pick my child up from school and drop him off. And that was my main priority. I wanted to be able to have those moments with him. So I hope I answered your question. I'm sorry.
No, you good. You good.
I thought about it as I was answering. So I'm like, I'm sorry.
No, you good.
Sacrifices, right? We're going back to sacrifices.
No, it's all gonna come full circle. Don't even worry about it. We're good. No,
Okay,
you,
okay.
you, no, you
Thanks,
definitely answered the
thanks.
question. So, as a boss, right? Because again, you're not only a boss of your own two brands, you're also a boss, so to speak, of people who contract you, because you're still managing and manipulating those particular contracts. What are the differences when you're working on Mink lashes, photography? What are the differences on how you operate or how you progress through your day as a boss with your brand and your personal companies?
My personal companies take a hit a lot. And I had someone get on me because they were like, how are you a social media manager, a social media specialist, and your social media is not like Toy, you engage and then you disengage. And I'm like, because my clients come first. And
Mhm.
that to me, when I build up my resume and I approach clients, I don't show them my personal analytics. I'm showing you what I've done for these brands that I work for. And so when it
Okay.
comes down to that, and even now with me more so, I made a real rebrand and a big step out with marketing by Toy to really start to focus on putting myself out there and putting my services at the forefront. Like for a long time, I stepped away from photography and didn't even promote that I did photography. And unless
Hmm.
you knew me personally and were like, "Hey, I need to shoot. Can we meet up? Can you do this on this day?" I was not, and was passing off a lot of business. Like, no, I'm not doing photos anymore. So now that I'm at a point to where it's like, ma'am, get your life together. Like this is all of your services. Why are you not at least offering bits and pieces of what you do instead of trying to market the whole picture? It made me take a step back and really rebrand myself and start to now put a little bit more focus. So
Hmm.
for me, I break it down by days, and or I give myself hour slots. So I might work 8 to 11 for this client, and then I'm gonna take a break, and then from probably about 1 to 4, I'm working in class game for the
Okay.
week, or I'm working marketing by Toy for the week, or Monday may be specifically for a client and whatever that client needs. And then I normally try to give myself one day off during the week just because I also technically work weekends. So it'll probably
Uh-huh.
be Tuesdays that I'm like my checkout days. And then Wednesday, I might go hard for a Mink Lash game. And I might do more so focusing on redoing my website or figuring out, catching abandoned carts and emailing clients or doing sales and promotions
Wait,
or figuring
Paul,
out what I want to do.
you said catch abandoned carts?
Yeah. You ever like go to order from a website and you change your mind and you don't want to order no more? It still sits in the cart and we get notified of that. So we can see what you had in your cart, your email address, all of your information, and then we can email you a retargeting email that'll basically you get these a lot probably. Hey, you forgot something.
So wait, pause. So you're the person, and I'm pointing it intentionally. So
I
you're
know, I
the
feel some
person.
way.
So you're the person who sends me the email. Hey, you have 3 items you left in your cart. Okay, people. So there you go. You can actually put a face to the name behind those emails.
I almost spit my water.
You can put
Yes,
a
I'm the
face
person harassing y'all.
to make us spend our own self money.
Hey,
See,
if my
so
client don't make money, I don't make money. I'm sorry.
totally
Sorry.
understandable. So I kind of want to touch back on something that you said when you said your business suffers or your company suffer more often than your clients because you make your clients and the individuals that you contract with your priority. So given what we know and what you've learned and how you see that your company has taken a hit or a dip because you're focused on the client, you kind of touched on it, but more specifically, what are you doing to make sure you have that balance, not only with your clients and what they need and what they require, but also the attention that your business needs and requires?
Well, recently I've gotten. I'll say I got back to it because I gotten away from it past couple of months. I gotten back to like really being big on my time management and
Okay.
making sure that I am sticking to my priorities list. So I'm a big to-do list person. Like I'm
Okay.
gonna sit down and figure out, hey, these are all the things I have to do for the week. This is what I need to do by day. This is what I have to do. So I'm gonna go and look like for school. I might have a project due on Wednesday and Friday. So I know I need to block out time Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday to work on those projects. Once I set that down, okay, well, around this time, I need to now make sure
Mhm.
that I'm doing this and what all do I have to do for this client. So again, going back to what I said about setting schedules, calendars, and knowing what my clients are looking for. Once I kind of get an idea on that, now I'm making sure that I do that for myself as well. My god sister laughed at me about my binder. I have a binder and it's pretty thorough. Like it's like
A
pretty.
binder,
Each
wow.
client is broken up by like dividers, and then each section is broken up by like the quarter that we're in for business. And they have their own calendars, they have their own to-do
Mhm.
list, their own priority list, and then from there, and everything is. I'm big on colors. Everything's color coordinated. So
Yeah.
once I put my businesses in there as if my businesses are my client, and that's how I've gotten better at prioritizing. That was the answer to the question. I'm sorry.
No,
I
no, you
treat
good.
my businesses like they're my client.
That's actually the perfect answer. Like to treat your business as if your business was one of your clients, and I'm gonna pay myself. That's actually
Now, sometimes I'm a horrible client and I'm lazy and I don't want to do nothing. And I'm like, girl, just post whatever you want to. When you post it, you get to it. And then sometimes I'm the client that's like, all right, look, I got to grind it out because I ain't making enough money last quarter. So this quarter, we need photo shoots, we need new products, we need new launches.
right.
Like,
So now we're starting to get into some of the details of the trials and tribulations of being that boss when you're having to manage not only your company but also manage the companies of other individuals, and how you spoke of your company taking a hit and now you're attempting to begin to treat yourself like a client. Now that you're creating these slots for your companies and then yourself and then the people you contract with, I still haven't quite gotten the understanding or the gist of how you still fit your personal life in there.
I thought
Like
I told you I don't.
it feels like it's a struggle. It definitely feels like a struggle you having right now with that.
I don't have a personal life. Okay. I am 29 and most Fridays I'm in my bed. Like that's my personal life. I'm just being honest with you. I might Taco Tuesday once every 2-3 months with a friend. My friend's birthdays, I'll go
So,
out,
so what
but
are you so what things are you attempting to do to balance it? Because you still haven't like really specifically answered that question. Because it seemed like that's one of the biggest things that oh, well, there you have it, people. If you become a social media manager or marketer, you will have no personal life.
you become an entrepreneur. And it's I won't say that. I won't say that at all. I have a specific goal set in my head, and until I
Mhm.
reach that goal, I feel like I don't have time to play. So to me, a personal life is a luxury right now that I can't afford.
Okay.
I can't do it. So and to the majority of my friend circle, I'm the only entrepreneur in my friend circle, and they tell me all the time, they like, bro, you're the only one of us that could do it because we couldn't do it. And for them, where they are in their careers, they're pretty much at like hey, I'm good right here. I'm comfortable. And to me, I'm like, oh no, this ain't it. Like I can't stay here. Like the
Gotcha.
goals and the vision that I have for myself in my mind, I'll play later. And right now, I just feel like my late 20s after having my son and the goal I set for myself to be at certain position by my mid 30s, it's grind time for me. I can't play.
Okay.
And I feel like I got a late start because when I was pregnant, I dropped out of college. So I had to go back to college. So all of my friends already, finishing master's programs, and I'm over here like, well, I'm finishing my bachelor's and my master's in 3 years, but it's fine. Like, I'm just like, it's okay. But they can
Right.
play and they can do all of that right now, and I personally can't. And I tell them that, and they respect it. They don't feel any way about me. I've missed a couple of birthdays because I'm
Yeah.
working. No one holds that against me, and if they do, it's never been in like well, you weren't there. They are very understanding of like, no, we respect the fact that you grinding it out to make it, for you and your child.
Right.
So
That's a perfect statement to kind of segue into my next question, because I wanted to ask, as an entrepreneur, you're grinding and working towards, building your business and building your brand. What type of support you feel as an entrepreneur one should have and need?
you need a lot, first of all. I have to. I cannot not give credit to my parents because my parents have been my rock through everything. They
Mhm.
gave me the opportunity to be like, look, we don't mind for however long you need to stay here to get your stuff in order, whatever you need us to do. If you need us to, I mean, even in podcasting, there were nights where we were at the studio till 11, 12 o'clock at night.
Mhm.
And my parents and my son's other set of grandparents never complained about me coming to get him late or having to keep him, an extra night because I'm tired because I've been working.
Right.
And at that point in time, I was working for the school, so I would get off work and then go to the studio to do podcasts,
Mhm.
or I would leave work and go work in a networking event or do a photo shoot. And they never once were like, oh, we're tired of keeping him, or and my mom is very big on when I do take times to like say I want to travel or do something.
Uh-huh.
She's big on like, go, you're young, go do it. Or like she encourages that from me because I think for her, she sees a lot of herself in me and how I go, 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 go. That when I
Uh-huh.
have those moments where I can stop and unwind, she's like for it. So when it comes down to support, I mean, being that I have a child, my biggest thing is the fact that I have people around me who don't mind helping me when it comes to him and whatever that looks like,
Mhm.
even down to his godmothers. Like his godmothers, I thank God every day that I picked them at 23 years old, not knowing nothing about what it took to raise a child.
Right.
Me and my niece are 2 years apart, and she jokes all the time about how my son grew her up. But she really stepped into that responsibility of I'm not just going to be his godmother by name. I'm going to
That's
actually
amazing.
help and do stuff. And so when it comes down to this support, because I take so many sacrifices, especially like I told y'all, mommy guilt is real. I feel like a lot of times I beat myself up because I feel like I don't do enough as a mother, or I don't prioritize that like I should sometimes. And having those people around you to really encourage you and let you know,
Mhm.
that you're doing the best that you can. And I keep that communication. My baby's 5, but I talk to him. He has a very good understanding. And I let
Right.
him know all the time, mommy's working, so we can you like getting nice stuff. Like right now he's begging for a PlayStation 5. Okay, well,
Sign me
mama
up
gonna
too.
have
I
to
don't
go
play it,
do.
but sign me up too.
I can't afford it. No.
The resale. The resale.
And but I tell him that because my baby swears my pockets run deep. Like everything is mommy. I want this, mom, and I'm like, well, you expensive. And I tell him you better pray and ask God to send mama another client so you can get it. And he'll do it. He'll sit in the back and go, Jesus, please send my mommy more clients so she can buy me PlayStation 5. And I'm like, in the name of Jesus, yes, amen. Come on, do it. And then I tell him, but you know that means mommy's
That-
gonna have to work more. Like but he somewhat gets it, if that makes sense. But
No, that's amazing that you have that type of support system, especially being an entrepreneur. What about professionally? Do you have like individuals that you can go to who've been in the social media marketing world longer than you, that you can go to and kind of like get pointers from or ideas from outside of like um, going to school and learning from that perspective?
as far as in social media marketing, not really, because it's one of those fields where it seems like everyone is doing it, but when you're in it, you realize it's really not a lot of people in this profession.
Okay.
So it's still kind of so exclusive that it's hard to find people who do it and do what you do. So I initially joined a lot of like Facebook groups, girl bosses, women of marketing type groups, and I've met a couple of ladies through those.
Okay.
But for me, I'm big on collaboration over competition. I feel like it's enough out here for everybody to eat.
Right.
However, the more I network, the more I realize that a lot of people don't have that same mentality. I can be in a position or a relationship with someone who we do the same thing, and I'm not threatened by you, and I'm not gonna not support you just because we do the same thing.
Right.
However, don't try to shit on me just because you feel like the
Right.
lane is too narrow for both of us. And so when it comes down to actually having relationships with people within my profession, I have maybe
Okay.
one person that I can really sit and talk. But as far as other people in business who I have, my main client has become like my sister. It's crazy how our relationship has grown into she really mentors me and she's very successful. She has about 4 or 5 successful businesses. Like,
Okay.
it tells me all the time how much I remind her of how she was when she started. So I'm looking at her like, okay, well, if I could be there in 10 years, I'm on the right track. Like, I'm not complaining.
Right.
But
Right.
she really, like, even down to just, going into my 30s, I was big on, like, I have to learn how to manage my money. Like, I have horrible spending habits. And just having her sit down with me and just teach me game that nobody taught me when it comes to money management and separating your business and your personal finances. And
Right.
like I said, being self-funded, it blurs the line a lot. And just the importance of having those 2 separate bank accounts and, having a savings account for your business that you don't access at all. Like,
Right.
learning those things over the last year and having somebody who is where I want to be reach back and teach me those things. It's really and truly, and my mindset in the last 6 months has shifted so much. And it kind of, sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I had this 2 years ago. Man, I wish I had this,
Right.
but I just
Right.
be thanking God that I have it now. So
Mhm.
it's her, and I have another mentor who she's like a personal life coach who I grew up, her and my oldest sister grew up as like best friends. And so having her as well, she really, she was one of my first clients. Like, just, I'm pro bono doing this for free. I just need experience taking pictures of
Right.
people and learning social media. And she was like, girl, come on, I got you. And I
Right.
met a lot of people because of that relationship. So
Well,
yeah, they are
that's
probably
amazing
my,
in itself.
yeah, it
So
was it was
so
fun.
what do you find most difficult about being an entrepreneur? What's the most difficult thing um, for people who are looking to become entrepreneurs or wanting that independence or of being their own boss, clocking in and out at their own time and pace? What part of it do you find to be most difficult?
Finances.
Elaborate. Look, like finances. What does that mean?
Okay, perfect example. My lash company. I look at it like this, and I've been not as consistent with as I should, but it's
Okay.
taking a back seat to some other priorities. However, when I'm in my like grind mode with it, I
Hmm.
think like this: if I don't post today, I'm not gonna make a sale, and if I don't make a sale, I don't get no money. And for a while, my lash company was a side hustle that actually started to generate me that extra income to where I could do little things that I want to do and be comfortable and know my bills are paid and I have this money over here to go get that $60, $75 spa package at the nail shop. So things like that for me mentally, I had to instill that in myself. But I really just be like, girl, look, you don't get your butt out here and you don't sell these services and you don't go do this photo shoot or you don't at least put out there that you do photo shoots, you're not gonna make no money and you're not gonna be able to pay your bills and you don't like that feeling. So get up and do it. And like I said, not having that guaranteed first and 15, check. Like I said, I'm contract. So I'm kind of, as the client may not renew, they may
Right.
renew. They may decide to only renew for 2 weeks, which means I'm cutting their invoice in half. It's no certainty on. I took a big step back from even with health insurance. About a
Gotcha.
year, I didn't have any health insurance like that. And I've never not had health insurance. And initially she was like, I'm fine, I'm healthy. Until my butt needed to go to the doctor. And it was like, ma'am, the out of pocket cost is. And I'm over there going, how do that? Like, what? It's like things like that, you don't think about as an entrepreneur, but a big deal. And I used to complain about how much I paid when I was at the school district for insurance. And now I'm like, dang, I miss having that because what you pay out of pocket is way more than what I was paying for
Oh,
copay or, things
absolutely.
like that. So when I say
Absolutely.
finances take a major adjustment, however, you don't have a salary cap in a way. There's nobody over you telling you, hey, once you make this much, that's it. So there's that potential to continue to go up and go up and go up until you reach your, okay, I'm comfortable here. And so, although that is like a big struggle when you're conditioned to having the consistency of it, it's also an incentive because it's like, okay, well, if I get 3 clients and each of them pay me this much, or I'm good. Like I'm set. Like,
Right.
or I started learning how to, which is where I am now, learning how to do work smart, not hard. Like, man, why you overextending yourself where you noticing all these clients you're doing these
Uh-huh.
consultations with, they really just need somebody to kind of steer them in the direction. Bro, sell a package that just lay out the outline for them and let them do the hard work themselves. Like, once I started thinking that way, now I've opened myself up to I've freed myself to be able to do a lot of those other things that you
Okay.
said. So my goal is by my birthday in February that I will have managed myself down enough to have more time to focus on a personal life. And until I get to that point, it's like those are the biggest things that for an entrepreneur going into it, you have to know off the rip, like money and personal is going to, it's going to be it can't be your driving factor. Like if you want to go into business for yourself, really and truly, money cannot be your motivation. Like you have to, I had a teacher tell me this in the 10th grade. He was like, if you do what you love, you'll never work another day in your life. And
That
I
is a
looked at
lie.
him
That
and he
is
was
a
like,
lie.
it not really, because honestly, I love marketing. I eat,
Hey,
breathe, sleep. I can sit and talk this all day and it doesn't feel like work. And it's fun for me. And when I do a photo shoot and like you can tell through my pictures, my clients look like they were having an amazing time because I make it an experience to them. It doesn't feel like work.
mhm.
And because it doesn't feel like work, when I finish, I'm not drained. I'm not running to go get a drink. I'm not all of the things that I had when I was working a job. I don't have that anymore because and that's why it's hard for me to unplug because I enjoy my job.
Well, I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna agree with
That
you.
little side eye you was giving me, you're not agreeing. You're not agreeing.
Let me finish. So I'm going to agree with you to an extent because even when you're doing something that you love, there's still that burnout factor if you're not providing yourself with the necessary amount of self-care. So you can love what you do and it feels like it's not work, but there's still going to be days you're going to crash and burn because you're so exhausted and
Oh,
drained from not having the
absolutely.
balance. So there's going to be times, like you said earlier as we were talking, like, yeah, there's days where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna cheat myself as a client because I'm making sure I take care of my other clients. So to me, I just kind of look at that as still being a way of, if I love what I do, I don't care. It don't matter how tired I am. I'm still gonna find that extra oomph to put myself in that position. So that's why I said I agree with you to an extent. It's still that little bit because again,
I see
I'm a
what you're
social
saying,
worker.
though. I see.
I'm a social worker. I love what I do. I chose this field, but at the same time, there are days and times where I'm like, you show this for me, like, who, you know,
Oh,
so
okay.
you question those things.
Let me not paint no fairy tale that you're not gonna want to quit. Because I hope that wasn't the picture I put out there. Because
Right.
baby, okay, there are some days where I'll be like, I don't want to go back to the school, but if I have to, I will. Like because I'm just like I'm over having to be the person to figure all of this out. Like some days, just tell me what to do, and I'm just gonna do what you say do. So I get where you're coming from. Like yeah, there are
Okay.
those moments, and I can use doing Mink Lash Gang for instance. I probably want to quit every 3 months,
Oh wow.
honestly.
So
However, when I started Mink Lash Gang, I told myself that I would see it through for 5 years. They say most businesses fail within 5 years.
okay.
And a lot of businesses who are successful, they start to see the payoff once they cross that 5 year mark. Once I
Got
found
you.
that out, I told myself I'm not giving up on it until like literally like May 3rd, 2000, whatever, I think 23, 22, 23. When that day hit, I'm gonna sit down and have a long talk with myself and if I want to continue to do it. But
May
until that
3rd.
point,
May 3rd is a very great day. Just
my mother's birthday.
FYI. Just
You did say that on Man Cave that was
it's a very great day.
my
So
mom and my brother-in-law's birthday.
let me ask you this. So we've been in the midst of a pandemic, COVID, for about 8 months now. Has that impacted your business at all? Has that impacted the way you do business?
Mm, no, because honestly, a lot of businesses grew during this pandemic. So it made me more marketable because a lot of people were growing at a rate to where they could no longer control doing their social media for themselves. And I
Mm,
actually, it's crazy to that. I met a makeup artist this weekend and we just random conversation. I don't even know how we got to because I'm unplugged. I'm not selling myself this weekend. I lied,
right.
I did kind of, but I didn't at the same time. And while talking, she asked me, what did I do? She asked me if I done makeup. And I was like, girl, years ago, like that ain't my ministry. I left that alone. No. And she was like, oh, but what do you do? I'm like, I do social media marketing. But what is that? As she's doing my makeup, she's asking me all these questions, and she's like,
Right.
well, yeah, because and you would think during a pandemic, makeup artists not doing nothing. No, it's a lot of makeup artists out here eating during this pandemic. And as we're talking, and she was talking about just how, once they kind of opened everything up, how her business started to take off. And now she doesn't have the opportunity to sit and post for herself or,
Uh-huh.
do certain things. And she's like, I'm at dinner with my boyfriend. Like, hold on, let me do this post today because I didn't post. And she's like, it's stressful, it's draining. Like I can't do that and do faces all day and do this. And I'm like, hey sis, book a consultation, let's talk. Like, come on. So
Right,
so with
right.
that, a lot of businesses have started seeing rapid growth during this
Okay.
pandemic since between March and now. And I mean, there are bars and restaurants that out of nowhere took off because once outside opened a little bit, people were like, "Bet we going, we going wherever we could go." And so they went from being able to manage their business and their social media to now they don't have the time to do it. And that's where I know on my website it says why you should hire a social media manager. And one of the bullet points is you just don't have the time to do it. Like it's the conveniency of having me. So because I was already working from home, it
Uh-huh.
hey, there she is. But it didn't change much. I was doing consultations via Zoom or FaceTime, so that didn't change either. I was already pretty much set up for COVID. It was just allowing people to get that extra push to realize, like, bro, your business is growing at a rate that you can't keep up with, and you can't neglect your only marketing. Social media is free marketing. Every business should have an Instagram page. It's free, and you have access to millions and billions of people. Like I
Okay.
have shipped lashes to England, Canada, like places that it's like, bro, I would have never thought that I would have networked with these people. They found me through Instagram. And that was a post that I just took the picture on my iPhone and put it on my page and they found me and bought from me. So it's getting people, and that's something that I'm big on when it comes to my branding sessions, like helping you believe in your brand and that your brand can be what it is that you think it can be. So
All
again, I
right.
hope I answered your question, but
No,
it hasn't
no,
changed
absolutely.
much.
Actually, and that's crazy because I honestly would have thought people would have had more time to focus on their own social media accounts to be able to like actually get in the blender in the midst of constantly pushing their social media because we were all locked down for so long, so that was a very very amazing amazing answer. Like I
If you
definitely
make t-shirts and you're printing 200 t-shirts a week, your fingers are tired. You do not want to be typing on social media.
I know,
So,
right? That's a good point. That's a good point. So at this point, I mean, I feel like we've covered so much. Is there anything at this stage you feel like we haven't?
I mean, you're the interviewer.
I'm sorry, say again.
I said you're the interviewer. Like,
Hey,
um,
but I always allow you the opportunity to rebut, refute anything I may or may not have said.
no, all hearts and minds are clear. Like,
Beautiful. Well, hey man, look, go ahead and this your time to go ahead and promote yourself. Tell the people where they can find you. Do your thing.
well, if you are a single gentleman between the age, no, I'm playing. You said tell them where they can find me. No, I'm joking. Okay. So you can find me on Instagram at marketing by Toi and Mink Lash Gang. You can also find me online at www.minklashgang.com. And for marketing, you can find me at Toi, that is TOIAMES.com, toiames.com. You can email me. You can do not DM me on Instagram because I'm not gonna lie, I'm horrible at opening those. Please email me. It's in both of my bios. It says, please email me. So for any services that you need, I pretty much have everything laid out on my website. I have a link for you to request your quote or book your consultation. All of that is available again at Toi, Ames, AMES.com.
All right, people. That is a wrap. Another great, amazing interview. I'd like to thank Toi Ames for coming on and sharing some of her trials and tribulations and uncomfortable truths around being a boss and an entrepreneur. Check us out, Uncomfortable Truths, on YouTube, Spotify, anywhere you can find a podcast, Apple, Spotify, Buzzsprout, Amazon Music, all that good stuff. Also, check out the YouTube page, Shall We Proceed? Uncomfortable Truths. I'd like to thank all you guys for checking us out. Peace and love.